Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be having a best of 3 against Pryoxis. Now, if you don't know who Pry is, he's a UFC 4 content creator, does also play other fighting games and diversifies here and there on his streams, but mainly a UFC 4 content creator, has some of the best content around, and yeah, I'm just super grateful for him letting me get this gameplay in. Obviously I'm a smaller channel in comparison. I think he's sitting around well over 60k subscribers. I've obviously only got like 230, so the fact that he even allowed me to get this gameplay in and let me record, you know, it just shows the kind of guy he is. So huge thank you to Pry. He obviously knows that I'm a big fan. I'm always in his comment section. And shout out to Grapplurr too, who makes my thumbnails, he makes my YouTube banner, made my Twitter banner. He's very big in the community and he managed to hook me up with this right here. So if you want to check out Grapplurr, I'm going to leave his link in below to his Fiverr. Please check him out for any thumbnails, banners, whatever you want. This guy's great at. And check out Pryoxis. His link is going to be in the description as well if you haven't checked him out already. But yeah, life's just been crazy right now. I managed to play 2 of my favorite content creators in the same week. Obviously played against Goat1099, who's I believe the best player in the game, and he's also one of my favorite content creators. And now I'm playing Pry, and soon I'm going to be playing JMMA again as well. So this week's been pretty hectic, but yeah, again, just want to say a massive thank you to Pry, and hopefully in the future I can run it back, because in the first game in particular where he's using Leon, I was playing a bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie, the occasion got to me for sure. Obviously coming up against Pry, it was the same thing with Goat. The first game I definitely wasn't very comfortable, made a lot of silly mistakes, and you're going to see how a high level player like Pry capitalizes on those mistakes. You can see throwing a lot of feints, keeping a good distance. Obviously using Leon Edwards, going to primarily look to kickbox. Leon's a phenomenal pick on this game, and myself using Colby Covington is someone that I'm really trying to master. And for those of you on my channel who are slightly confused right now, I've actually had to quickly do this recording. It was meant to be coming out on Sunday, and today was meant to be my Colby Covington video, in where I call out a lot of content creators, but just because the way of the time and everything's worked, that video is going to be now coming out on Sunday, and this video should be coming out today, which is Thursday, because that's when Pry's uploading his. So I'm trying to match it. But yeah, that's why this may sound a little rushed and maybe not up to the usual commentary. But you can see Pry's really picking me apart here. And Colby Covington, obviously you're going to look to... You should have a very high intensity style of fighting when you're using Colby Covington. Of course, you're going to look to keep that pace up, look to really drown out your opponents. That should really be the game plan going into the fights. But one thing that, I don't know, this first fight, there was something that just wasn't right. I think the occasion was getting to me. Like I said, it happened in the GOAT fight as well. I was just extremely nervous. Probably should have had a couple warm-up games before getting into this, but the servers were actually down, so I had to wait for the servers to come back up and then invite Price straight away, because I didn't want to waste any of his time. And it was getting kind of late where I am in the UK, and I had work the next day, so it was all a bit rushed. But I'm hoping that maybe in the future I can run some more games against him. So the first round's just finished there. You can see that he definitely won that round, was definitely having the better of the striking exchanges, and at this point here I was thinking that I need to initiate some sort of grappling exchange. Obviously you can see that he got the cage takedown with Leon, took me to the cage and then dumped him on my back, and then opted to get up, which is the right thing to do, because Leon Edwards is a predominant stand-up fighter. You don't want to run the risk of taking me down and then getting reversed and then I end up being in the dominant position. But this is the first knockdown he gets here, and it's the first of many. Really, this fight just spirals downhill from this round, if I'm going to be real honest with you. Like I said, definitely not happy with the performance here, but it's important to upload even the fights you don't fight too well in, because then you'll get to see the adjustments. And that head kick, my god, he just should have probably just dumped on me there and finished me out of you know, just mercy. Now everything's starting to hurt, and he's really in the driving position here. And it just goes to show you, these high level players, man, they really do punish you. You saw it with Goat, and now you're seeing it with Pry, really just picking me apart. Go for a takedown here, great deny. So I'm reevaluating. I know that when I shoot for the next takedown I should probably turn the other way, because it's evident that when I shot that takedown, Pry knew exactly how to deny it. But with all high level players, they know how to deny takedowns. It's just about being smart and shooting at the right time. So I'm definitely down 2 rounds already, unless I get a knockdown here, which I'm going to be honest with you, the way the fight's going is looking extremely unlikely. Right now it's just about trying to preserve head health and minimize damage, but also look to get the fight to the ground, because once I get the fight to the ground I may be able to find some success. Of course that's not where Leon's comfortable. As you can see, fake the teep kick there. I'm still trying to be aggressive because it's good to try drown your opponent, especially when using Colby. Colby's health stats are very good, although I've been cracked and my head health starting to fade. But Colby's health stats in general are a lot better than most of the elite welterweight fighters, so you can really look to push the pace even whilst hurt. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. Even though I've taken a lot of damage, I'm still trying to push forwards, persevere, and I hope that there's an exchange where either I can get a good takedown or potentially get a rock. But I'm trying to be realistic. I know that I'm hurt, picking and choosing when to enter that pocket, and as you can see, pick the complete wrong time. So that's another knockdown here, rips to the body. And this is the sign of you're playing someone that's extremely high level, is that when they've got one part hurt, so for instance my head health is in a terrible position, starts to rip my body. And that's a smart strategy, especially against Colby, because the stamina's at 99, I believe his stamina's at, which is ridiculously high, and a lot of people struggle going into the later rounds with Colby Covington. You can see I'm just trying to find some sort of avenue for success right now, but I'm just taking an absolute battering. Like, no matter where I go, my body's in a terrible position, head health's in a terrible position, and I'm getting into these exchanges with my head health lower. So the problem is I'm always going to end up losing this exchange. However, I feel like I have to do something. I can't just stand away and walk around the fence. Obviously it's not realistic to Colby's style, and not only that, it's going to allow Pryor to have even more success picking me apart in the kickboxing range, because that's not where Colby's going to excel. So coming into the third round, not doing particularly well. Like I said, this first fight wasn't the greatest. You can see stamina coming out is pretty even. One thing I wasn't utilizing nowhere near enough is my head movement. So shoot for a takedown here, another deny, and for those of you with a keen eye will notice that I shot for the exact same takedown that Pryor denied beforehand. So moving forwards, I know I need to try to turn the other way, trying to use the teep kicks, which is something that I sort of had, I wouldn't say much success with, but it was working well with GOAT. So it was something that I was trying to filter into this fight here, but I just felt extremely off, and you can see here that Pryor is just free flowing. Combinations are really hard to read, that's extremely crucial to how you need to fight. You need to have your combinations that aren't predictable, keep your opponent guessing, and you need to equally split the damage, so he's splitting it to the head and to the body, which is crucial, because if I'm just constantly covering my head, he's going to rip to the body and still get potentially a knockdown. And you can see here the roundhouses to the body are doing so much damage, but still trying to persevere, seeing if I can make something happen. Now is very dangerous going into any exchange. Get the takedown here, and once it's on the ground, I felt a bit more comfortable. He got the transition straight away, which isn't ideal, and it pushes me up. So I've been waiting for the takedown, finally got the takedown, and Pryor was able to get back up with relative ease. And this is by no means a good thing, of course. The fight on the ground could lead to a potentially different outcome. I've definitely lost this round, so if the fight goes to decision somehow, I'm definitely going to lose, even if I win the next two, because it's 3 rounds in the bank here for Pryor. Shoot the takedown, turn it again the way in which he didn't deny, and a double top. So here I was looking to pre-deny the sprawl. Pryor was wise to it, and then opted to go into half guard, which is the exact thing to do. You don't want to go to the same location too many times, because then your opponent's going to know what to deny, and then it just makes it harder if you're on the bottom to try and get up, especially with Colby Covington, who's got very good ground and pound. You can see Pryor fakes to get up here, I fake the transition, and as I was doing it, Pryor gets up. So when it comes to the ground, you can see that Pryor is very good at getting back to his feet. So what I'm going to need to do a better job of is the deniers. The deniers are going to be crucial in order to maintain the top position and really look to work from there. You can see Pryor manages to get to sprawl again, and here I'm waiting to see who does get a good deny there. Finally managed to get a deny, and you see both our stamina isn't in a great position, so I go for a submission here. Colby doesn't have the best submissions, and this isn't one of my stronger ones. I was just doing it to see how good Pryor's submission defense is, and you can see that, passed the test with flying colours. So this wasn't the ideal thing to go for, but if the fight went back onto the feet, it'd be a lot more dangerous for myself, as Pryor's been knocking me down with pretty much every significant strike thrown. So been really dominating on the feet, so I had to mix it up, try go to the ground, look for the submission because it was just there and it was available. There wasn't too long left on the clock for me to throw any significant strikes, so felt like it was a pretty safe bet to go for. And coming into round 4, you know, even ever since round 2, it's been a downhill spiral. Good teep there to the body. I know that if I do get the fight to the ground, I may have more success, and I was very interested in seeing who Pryor was going to use in the second matchup, because I feel like that could dictate a lot of things. I didn't know if Pryor was going to go with RDA, because obviously we all know Pryor is very good with RDA, and that's someone that I'd like to test myself against, is Pryor's RDA. But you'll see who he ends up picking, and it does change the way I would have approached the fight drastically. He ends up picking someone that, yeah, I wasn't really expecting, but nonetheless, as you can see, Pryor is just absolutely working me with the body, and maybe that's foreshadowing what's to come in the next fight. But just the way Pryor mixed up the strikes and the IQ shown, you see, you get a good block there, go for the question mark kick. That was the first time I went high. I just went for it just to see, you know, what if, and I found the what if. It was that he put me to absolute sleep, so I can't wait to watch that back on his end and see his reaction. But as you can see, second fight in coming up against his Gilbert Burns. Now, this was a surprise for me. Didn't expect him to go Burns, but after his fight at UFC 273, maybe that's what encouraged it. Or maybe it was done as a way for me to avoid going onto the ground. But nevertheless, I felt a lot more confident in this fight. Obviously, had the fight prior, tried to pick up some little tactics and combinations, tried to sort of download that, and now really look to implement it here and use a lot more head movement. So you'll notice that I'm definitely a lot more confident starting this fight off here. You can see I'm pressuring a lot more. I'm more comfortable in boxing range. And yeah, you can just tell overall that this fight is going to be a different fight. Leg kicks are flowing. But with an opponent like Gilbert Burns, obviously, because of how good his jiu-jitsu is, going to the ground is going to be extremely difficult. And the power that he holds with his hands, the boxing ability, the array of kicks that Gilbert has, it's a very, very tough matchup. And for those of you that have watched my channel from, let's say, when I started to when I finished, you'll know that often I've said Gilbert Burns is probably the best welterweight to use, just because of how well-rounded and versatile Gilbert is. He's just, you know, very good to use. So now coming up against a higher level player like Pryor, who's using him, it's a very interesting matchup, and this is exactly what I need to test my Colby and to better myself. And the one thing is with these spars, it's not always about winning. Obviously, it's very important to win, but it's about learning from your fights and learning from each opponent. And that's exactly what I've done. Obviously, lost to GOAT, and I felt like I picked up some things along the way, and now I'm just trying to implement them here against Pryor. But yeah, Pryor's doing a good job right now of absolutely ripping the body, and that's exactly what you should do coming up against the Colby Covington. If you're coming up against Colby, you've really got to look to target the legs and the body, in my opinion. His head health stats are really good, so it makes it that much harder to finish. It's sort of like a John Jones situation, where John Jones' head health, well, his chin health is very, very high, so look to target the legs and the body. And with Burns, I know that the health stats, they're good, don't get twisted, they're not as good as Colby's, but they're very good. And there's still stuff that can be done. Obviously, with the boxing, if you put a lot of volume on Burns, you can break that block and then eventually start getting through to the head, then over time just whittle away at the chin health, which was my game plan here. I'm going to try go over to the body as well, because you can see Pryor's really going body heavy in this first round, which, like I said, very good game planning. I'm trying to filter in my leg kicks, and you can see I haven't gone for a takedown as of yet, just because it's the first round and I wanted to see what the fight was like standing. I wanted to see how Pryor was going to approach it, and you never know, Pryor could shoot for a takedown himself, which is something that, you know, it's keeping me on edge, because how good Gilbert is on top as well as on the bottom. But if Pryor gets a takedown, it could be devastating, because Burns on top is a real problem, especially with the submissions that Burns has available. But yeah, good first round. I'd say it was competitive. I'd definitely say Pryor got the better of the exchanges, especially ripping to the body. That's one thing that Pryor found a home for and done very, very well. But coming into the second, I've got to do more of the same. You can see that the stamina is pretty much at the same level, which is not where I want it. I really want Pryor's stamina to be slightly lower than mine, and then in the third have an even bigger drop off, and then really look to take control of the fight. And you see I'm really looking to utilize the leg kicks, catching him there with the cross, keeping the combination simple, not trying to overextend. As you can see, when I do overextend, I get punished. I got the uppercut to the body, and that done a lot of damage. Push Pryor towards the fence, and this is a beautiful, beautiful takedown. It's one of my go-tos. So teep kick towards the fence, and then you do a power takedown. We get the deny for the sweep to full guard, and then deny to sprawl. And already this segment just here is 10 times better than the fight before. Definitely had more success. So got 2 deniers. He ended up transitioning to sprawl. But it's okay because the threat of the takedown is there. Didn't manage to get the control that I wanted, but just having that threat there is enough to make hopefully Pryor think about the threat of the takedown some more. So now that I'm on bottom, I'm very comfortable on the bottom. Obviously Gilbert Burns is a huge, huge threat. He postures up here and gets up, and that's the exact right thing to do. Don't want to stay on the ground too long and then end up getting reversed. I was interested to see if Pryor was going to look to work off the top there, but we found the answer to the question. He just wanted to stand, knee to the body. And right now, yeah, like I said, it's definitely more competitive than the first fight. I've got to be careful there. That right there is the same thing that GOAT was doing to me. Whenever I stepped in range, I didn't back out quick enough, and he'd punish me with a big 4-piece combination. It just splits the block, and really drains your block health, and then absolutely obliterates your head health. So that combination there is something that I need to do a better job of working on. So yeah, that's something I'm really going to try to look to improve in the future. You can see it's really targeting that leg. The leg work is coming along. It's not the greatest because Colby doesn't have the best leg kicks. However, over time, over 5 rounds, it can do a lot of damage. And like I said, just get your opponent thinking. But you can really see that my body health is in absolute bits, but still persevering, still pushing forwards. It's something that Pryor's done very well. He's looked to target the body. You can see he goes to it again. But this good distance management there to be away from that lead body roundhouse. Try to catch the uppercut as he was going to the body, which is obviously how you counter people that go to your body. Doing a good job with blocking to a certain degree. Obviously it's not great because you can really see the damage done to my body, and that's something that I definitely need to improve on. I remember when I had a best of 3 against Jay MMA twice. That's something that Jay does really well, is go to the body. So I need to block my body more, that's for sure. And I've got another best of 3 coming up against Jay MMA, which I think I'm going to record tonight. So hopefully the games here with Pryor, I can implement all the changes I need in the best of 3 against Jay MMA, and you know, really have a solid win. Or even if I don't win, just show some signs of improvement, because you can see the first fight was dreadful. The second fight is definitely a lot more competitive. I still felt in it even though my body health was absolutely obliterated. I took a knee for the first responders a lot in the first fight, as Colby would say. This fight, as of yet, I don't think I've been knocked down. You see, really applying that pressure. It's the 3rd round now, trying to put that championship mentality, championship stamp on the fight here. Really persevering, but Burns' power is great. Good knee there. That's very good, because had Pryor not thrown that knee, I would have dragged Gilbert all the way to the cage and looked to get a cage takedown, and then just sat on top, postured up, looked to do a lot of damage on the ground, because Colby's got excellent ground and pound, one of the better ones in the division, in a division that's stacked full of wrestlers. But you can see the leg kicks are starting to get more of a reaction, but my block is deteriorating at quite a big rate. Whenever he's landing, I feel that there's a huge power difference, and that's the only thing with Colby that I find is a real struggle, is that when it comes to power, there's a lot of fighters in the division that have a lot more power. And that was a beautiful roundhouse, tried to rip the body twice, and the head movement from Pryor is always good. You see swaying back, and he's just always giving me something to guess about. A lot less feints this fight, which is what I noticed, but obviously I would expect more feints with someone using Leon Edwards, because, you know, Leon's a kickboxer, going to throw feints to get your reaction, whereas with Burns, you can see Pryor's adopting a more just gun-heavy approach, as he did in real life, really, against Hamzat Chimaev. Still looking to whittle away, still in there. This fight's been closely contested at a boxing range. Not really been in the kickboxing range too much. As you see, I stepped away. Look, that's one thing that I was starting to pick up on, so I was stepping away rather than letting that 4-piece land. Try to apply pressure there after getting the stun. Pryor done a good job in rotating away. That leg kick just missed, and the plan was to land that leg kick to stop Pryor in his tracks and then shoot a takedown against the fence, but that didn't come to fruition. And as a result of that, you can see the first knockdown of the night goes to Pry. Fakes going to the body there, which is a very good fake, got me to react. And now I'm against the fence here, go into a terrible exchange where my block was low and head health was low. He pushes me to the fence, and you can see now just absolutely unloading. I think Pryor was waiting for the moment in where he could capitalise, and that's what good players do. Waited for his moment very well. I had him hurt, thought I could, you know, at least make something out of it. He ends up rotating the position, and now I'm on the back foot, ripping my body, ripping my head. Yeah, just not having a overall good time right now. You can see that my body's absolutely struggling. Lands that knee. I'm still trying to push forwards because that's what you've got to do. Stamina is an advantage to myself, I believe, at the moment. Another knockdown there, but that's a big round for Pryoxis there. That's a massive round. Done so much damage that now coming into the fourth, I need to play this very carefully because it's not going to take too much to get me out of there. And probably need to look to get a takedown, to be honest with you. Hold out on top, maybe look for a ground and pound finish. But I've got to be careful not to get caught in submissions. You can see that the stamina advantage is there as I land my own roundhouse to the body. But my head health's in a position and body health's in a position where there's not too much more I can do. As soon as Pryor chooses to unload, I'm in big trouble. But one thing is Colby's health stats are crazy because you can see how low my body health is, and I'm still taking roundhouses to the body. I'm not sure if that's because Burns doesn't have the power there, maybe like a Leon would or a Thompson would, or I'm not sure, but Colby was definitely eating a lot of shots. You can see he goes to go to my body there, doing a good job blocking these last array of strikes, but the foundation's been set, the work's been done for Pryor. It's now just about finding the right moment and, you know, it'll all align. But just, yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the fights. I'm hoping that I can get a rematch potentially sometime too. Shout out to Pryor, man, because he was really good. I learned a lot off of these fights, and whenever I spar other UFC 4 content creators, I find that I learn a lot about myself and there's a lot to improve on, as there always is. And you can see he drops me there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. The actual Colby Covington video will be now coming out on Sunday. It was meant to be coming out today, but it will come out on Sunday, and then you'll realize why I'm only using Colby Covington against these content creators. I'm trying to become the best Colby in the world, and look at that finish. Whew, put me to sleep. So yeah, I just want to say a huge thank you to Pryor, huge thank you to Grapplurr for setting this up. I hope you guys have been enjoying the content lately. I just want to say a big thank you for all the support on the channel. I've been growing very well lately. A lot of likes on the content, a lot of good comments, a lot of good feedback. So I'm just very grateful for the community that's forming right now. And yeah, so expect a JMMA best of 3 to come out soon, using none other than Colby Chaos Covington again. Hopefully I can get a few more matchups with other content creators. Fingers crossed, maybe Marshall will mind. But yeah, we'll see. So thank you for watching the video. If you did enjoy it, leave a like. And if you've got any content suggestions, let me know in the comments below. If you like UFC 4 content, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.